You're watching Moms Matter. I'm your host, Shirini Adigar. Joining us today is Harvard graduate Samantha Ettus, who is a best-selling author, speaker, now turned Jewish activist as of October 7th, who's here to talk to us about how you can use your voice and how we all need to be speaking up. Samantha, you are such a light, and I really feel just honored to be in your presence.
Oh, likewise. Thank you so much. Even your daughter is an activist now. So I love it's all in the family.
We were just talking
Yeah,
about how we just don't have a choice, right? It's not a social justice movement.
that's
It's
right.
about our existence.
Yeah.
And I know for you, you have had such an incredible career, but everything shifted for you October 7th. You've completely become just a Jewish activist. What happened for you? Why the need for you to just change your platform and change your whole, purpose?
Yeah. So on October 7th, my son was bar mitzvahed. And at the time, we didn't really understand the gravity of what there was rumbles of something terrible happened in Israel, but no one was really talking about it at the party because it was still, we didn't understand the severity of it. And then the next day we woke up to really having an understanding of the horrors. And for me, I had been active on social media posting about work-life balance and how to get a 25th hour in your day and perhaps my latest cute outfit. And suddenly it seemed ridiculous to post about anything but Israel. And so I thought, okay, for a couple of days, I'm just going to focus on Israel and what's going on there. And then it never felt like the right time to go back because there were so few people speaking up and my platform wasn't enormous, but it was sizable. And I felt like I had a responsibility. And it was very hard to get, and it still is hard to get accurate news.
Hmm.
And so I kind of fell into this role of curating the news for people and making it digestible because, frankly, I never felt qualified to be this Jewish activist. On October 7th, I knew so little about Middle East history. I don't speak Hebrew. I just knew very, very little. And I felt incredibly unqualified to play this role. So I started giving myself a master's. I would read a book about Israel every single day. I just became obsessed with reading and listening to podcasts. And if my morning walk now is totally Israel podcast. I just try to educate myself as much as possible and figure out who the right voices to listen to are because there's so much misinformation out there.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get accurate news.
But it's incredible. You really have educated. You are an expert. I will turn to you when I want to know what's going on because you really have taken it on to educate yourself. And as a result, you've created a platform also called the 2024 New Voices.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in December, I became really frustrated that it was the same 20 influencers or Jewfluencers, whatever you want to call them. A combination of celebrities and thought leaders that were talking about Israel and about anti-Semitism. And it felt very lonely and like an enormous responsibility. And I thought we really need more people to help us here. And I was on the way to vacation with my family over the holidays. And I remember getting on the airplane and I just kind of hit me, why don't we ask celebrities to speak out, but make it very easy for them? Because I think that it had already been a couple months since October 7th.
Right.
And the longer it goes, the harder it is for someone to just come out and start saying something because they feel awkward that they didn't already say something. It's like a friend where, a friend's experienced a death in their family or anything. And then it's been too long since you didn't say something and then you don't know what to say.
Right.
It was like that for a lot of people. So I wanted to create a soft landing for celebrities and influencers who hadn't spoken out to come out and say, I'm Samantha Ettus and I am against Jew hatred or I'm against anti-Semitism.
Right.
So as you know, when you live in LA, you can't help but stumble upon celebrities, their parents in your kids' classes, whatever. So I started out with a few celebrities that I had relationships with, approach them to make videos. And then once I got a few on board, it became easier to go to friends and friends of friends.
Right.
And strangers and, just cold contacting people. And I thought the campaign would last a couple of weeks. So we launched, I guess it was late January. And Mandana Dayani also kind of powered it with her production team and PR team behind it. So it just kind of took on a life of its own, and now it's still going. And we're, months later, and every day we come out with every weekday we come out with another new voice. I've had to set my own boundaries. Here I was, talking about work-life balance, and we were talking about this before, how this is a full-time job with no pay.
With no pay. Yes.
Where you're just constantly working and you're always behind and there's always another news cycle. And during our interview, there's going to be some news about the hostages that we'll miss.
That's right.
And you are always missing something. And so for me, it felt like I'm 7 days a week. And so I just recently was, you know what? We don't need a new voice on the weekend. We can have it 5 days a week. And that's
Good for
okay.
you. No, you've got to set boundaries,
Yeah.
but has it, I mean, it's such a simple idea of just
Yes.
call out that you're against Jew hatred. You're against,
Yes.
just speak up. Has it been really easy for people to like just say, yes, sure, Samantha, I'll make a video for you. No problem.
Great question. It's been easy for some people. There's been a lot of people who see it as complicated. And so one of the things I did from the very beginning is say, this is a non-political campaign. We are not going to mention Israel. We are not mentioning anything about the geopolitical climate. You are just saying, I am against Jew hatred or anti-Semitism. Pick your poison, whichever way you want to say it.
Right.
What has amazed me is, and I blame Hamas for this. I blame Iran. I blame Russia for the propaganda. They've radicalized so many people and turned them into believers that anti-Semitism is a political thing. And it's just not. If you are hating people, you don't have to ask your agent whether it's okay to stand up against Asian hate or LGBTQ. And you're saying to me, I have to ask my agent for permission to say I'm against Jewish hatred. It's outrageous.
It's outrageous.
And so I've now gotten really aggressive about it. I mean, I had on the way here, I had a celebrity, and I was 5 minutes late to our interview because I was trying to convince this celebrity that they, in their video, should not be mentioning Islamophobia. They should just be mentioning Jew hatred, because there are so few people speaking out against Jew hatred. And that's all this campaign is. It's very simplistic. In fact, when people try to complicate it, I always say, let's just keep it simple, because that's what works. And it makes scared Jews feel less alone. It makes non-Jews see that their favorite celebrities and influencers are also against anti-Semitism. And so they should be too. And so by keeping it simple, I've made it a safe place for celebrities to speak out, but I still get those celebrities who think they need to speak out against all hate. And that's, like during Black Lives Matter, saying all lives matter. It's just not how it works.
Well, I just shocking to me that you have to ask your agent to stand up against hate.
Yeah.
You're just standing up against hate. And there's a lot of Jew hatred, right? We're targeted more than any other community. Why do you think this is, Samantha? Why is it? I mean, yes, the propaganda and they've entrenched into us, but why can't people have the cojones to just stand up and say, I stand against Jewish hate, period? There's nothing to do with Islamophobia. It has nothing to do with what's happening in Gaza. It's just what's happening here on Jewish campuses. Just stop the hate.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are afraid, and most people in general don't speak out, right? In general, most people are non-confrontational. They don't want to send the dish back if it's not the right thing at a restaurant. Most people in general don't speak out for their beliefs, whether it's something minor or something that has to do with their ethics and morals. And so first of all, you're trying to train a population of people to suddenly start using their voice when maybe they haven't even used their voice in their lifetime. And then secondly, it's an issue that's been corrupted by radicalization.
Yes, it has.
So I think that's an enormous battle. I mean, listen, we're fighting 4 battles right now. We have the battle to get the hostages returned. We have the battle against Hamas. We have the battle against anti-Semitism in the diaspora. And then we have the propaganda war, which we're losing rapidly. And so it's overwhelming for people.
It is so overwhelming, but it comes so natural to you to speak up.
Yeah.
What's your advice to people who are really fighting within themselves? They want to do the right thing, right? I think we all have that moral compass. We want to do the right thing, but they're scared and they don't know how to do it. How would you speak to them? What would you tell them to do?
Well, I love this question because since October 7th, I called my speaking agent, and it was in November, and I said, I'm no longer speaking to anything but Jewish groups and it was a big part of my career was my public speaking. I went to an engagement in November, and it was about, my previous topics, which was work-life balance. And I just felt funny not to be mentioning what's going on in the world right now. And it just didn't feel authentic to me. So I switched to this, and the thing I like to talk about most is how to unleash your inner activist, because I think that there's this mistaken understanding that you need to have a giant social media following, or you need to have a big platform to make a difference. And that's absolutely not true. Every one of us can make a difference. You can make a difference by talking to your kids about this at your dinner table.
Mhm.
You can make a difference by liking and commenting on Jewish activists' posts, because all of us right now are hidden. Like, I'm hidden on Instagram where only my followers see my stuff, but no non-followers can see me. And a lot of my fellow activists are in the same boat.
Right.
So, because we're being reported by the other side. So it's very hard right now to get our messages out there. You can talk to your school board when you see even the smallest transgression at your school or in your kids. I was just speaking at USC and someone showed me their syllabus, and there was a pro-Palestinian flag on the top of the syllabus. And it just becomes overwhelming, the whack-a-mole of it all. But because we're playing whack-a-mole, you can literally make a difference anywhere, because we need you everywhere.
Yeah, and that's such a great point. It starts at the dinner table. Talk to your kids
Yes.
about it. Nothing is small, right? Everything is big.
No.
You're making a difference by just speaking, and you don't need to have this huge following on social media. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
People think, oh, what does it matter? It's like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. My words
Exactly.
don't
And
matter.
it does. And I think, even yesterday, I think yesterday's battle du jour, it was like Nordstrom Tyson's Corner in Virginia had some, pro-Hamas
Right.
company that was going to be there, and they needed people to call Nordstrom or
Yeah,
to write to
yeah.
Nordstrom. Then, today I can't remember which clothing brand, some designer label has a watermelon Palestinian flag t-shirt. So we need that battle fought. And then there's the New York School Board. And there's a kosher restaurant today that was just, spray painted with graffiti, pro-Palestinian graffiti. It never ends. There is a battle to fight everywhere. All you
Everywhere.
have to do is raise your hands, and we need you. So I think it's easier than ever right now to speak out. The other thing that I think is so important, and that's why I'm so grateful to you for using your platform the way you have, and obviously you've raised amazing kids because your kids are doing it too. But I think it's so important to realize that all of us are impacted by this. So even if you're not Jewish, like, it starts with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. And if you look at the Holocaust, there were millions of non-Jews who were killed in the Holocaust. If you look at the Holocaust, there were 300 million people living in Europe during the Holocaust. 30,000 of them spoke up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
So when I see silence, or when we hear the deafening silence right now, I think of that. And so if you are someone who's been silent, it is never too late. You can start tomorrow, and we so appreciate you.
And you're so absolutely right. And this is not a Jewish problem. This is a problem for humanity.
Yeah.
People don't realize that Hamas is raping and mutilating and burning babies. They're going to do it there. They're coming west. I mean, they're going to come do it to all of us. And it's just a wake-up call for humanity to say, like, wake up. We're all in this. We want to make the world better for our children.
Well, I mean, jihadism is dangerous for anyone who lives in the Western world and appreciates democracy. Jihadism is coming for all of us. It's not about just the Jews. And I think it's easy to just bury your head in the sand and not realize that this is something that is going to attack us on a global scale. And there are so many people, even before October 7th, as you know, you probably have friends like this and acquaintances who say, oh, I don't get involved in politics. And at the end of the day, politics is involved in you. So whether you want to be involved in it or not, it's going to affect you, your kids, your grandkids. It affects us all.
Absolutely. And we're seeing it here. We're seeing it on college campuses. We're seeing it in our own city here in Los Angeles. We're seeing it. You will never see we are peaceful people. We believe in humanity. We are not going to go raid and loot stores. That's just not what we believe in. This is for the greater cause of humanity. And I'm so glad, Samantha, that I met you and that I'm able to be unified with you and so many other people across the world, and really just trying to bring truth, which is what you're doing through your platform, and really trying to bring love and coming from a place of love. Like, despite everything, we don't have hate. We just want to spread love. We want the world to open their eyes.
We just want to
what's
survive as
Yes,
a people,
yes,
right?
yes.
And there's only 15 million of us. And that's why it's so essential that we not only use our voices, but recruit allies to help us too, because we need everyone.
That's 100%. Samantha, leave us with one thing. If there is one thing that everyone should be doing today after they watch this live, what would it be?
Okay, well, I'm going to be a shameless plug for 2024 New Voices.
Do it. Look in that camera and tell them.
Okay. Follow 2024 New Voices on Instagram. And every time you see, and I call them brave celebrities because a lot of their colleagues are not, every time you see a brave celebrity posting, like it, comment, encourage them, because that's what encourages the next celebrity, the next influencer to speak out.
Thank you, Samantha Ettus, for all that you do. Thank you for bringing light and love and real information out there, and from shifting on October 7th to doing what really gives you purpose and meaning in this world.
Thank you.
You are a role model, and you saw it all here on Moms Matter, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.